Chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với phần tiếp theo của chương trình Tôi và Việt Nam trên kênh FBNC. Mời quý vị cùng tiếp tục theo dõi cuộc trò chuyện với chúng tôi với anh Alan Jiang, phụ trách thị trường quốc tế của Uber, một ứng dụng trên điện thoại di động giúp kết nối giữa người tiêu dùng và dịch vụ thuê xe đưa đón có tài xế riêng. Khá thú vị, vừa mới xuất hiện tại thị trường Việt Nam trong thời gian gần đây. So what is your strategy at the beginning when you try to promote about the service and get your word out to the people? What is your strategy in the beginning?
I think the strategy is really to get people to try it. I think the product itself speaks for itself. You know, like once you've kind of gotten into the car, experienced, that level of service that, is generally, very expensive and reserved for people who are paying, for 4 or 5-star hotels. And you can get that service for cheaper than taxi. And then at the end of the ride, you just get out and you don't have to pay anything. It's kind of just like, it's almost like magic is how it's been described sometimes. And I think really getting someone to get into the car one time is really, how we want people to experience the service.
So I'm just curious, for the driver, how much do they make out of one transactions? How many percent?
So Uber takes an average of about 20% commission, and the limo companies keep all the rest.
Oh, so they keep all the rest, 80%?
Yes. Yeah.
So I know in Malaysia, they have Uber X, which is Uber for low cost. Would that be available in Vietnam?
Right now, our only product offering is Uber Black, which means it's all licensed limo providers. I don't know what the future holds yet, so we have yet to see.
So when you are international launcher for Uber, so when you go around the world, many different cities, is there any local features about Ho Chi Minh City that make you guys have to customize a little bit about the services, or is it going to be the same compared to other cities?
Yeah, so every city we definitely try to localize as much as possible. We do this in the form of definitely the app is completely translated into the local language. So we do have a fully functioning Vietnamese app, website, everything. We also hire a fully local team who really intimately understand the culture and the business environment in the city. And the way we really localize is we do a lot of marketing campaigns that tend to be very local or kind of like promotional stuff. So one of the big ones that we did, for example, was I guess the most famous one is one we actually run globally. It's called On-Demand Ice Cream. This was actually 2 months ago. No matter where you were in the world, you could open the app, and on that one day, you could get an ice cream delivered to you anytime, on demand. And the way we localize it is every country or city even kind of figures out, hey, what is local to my market, and what can we offer in this city that is very local. So for example, in many Asian cities, we've done on-demand lion dances. We've done on-demand barbershop quartets for Valentine's Day in the US. And so really with the Uber platform, it's basically like a logistics platform that allows us to deliver almost anything at the push of a button.
You mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, you said one of the biggest challenges in Vietnam is the popularity of motorbikes. We almost ride motorbikes everywhere. So cars very low number compared to motorbike. So is there really a big demand for a service like this? What seems to be the average growth rate that you expected to achieve in Vietnam?
Sure. The demand for Uber has been huge in Vietnam. Definitely, motorbikes are the most common way of getting around the city. But there are a lot of people who drive or take taxi or, are willing to, sometimes instead of using a motorbike, upgrade a little bit. So what we've seen is Uber has been actually very, very sticky in Vietnam. And Ho Chi Minh City is actually the fastest growing international market ever for Uber.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. So compared to other cities around the world or around the regions, Asia, do you see that Vietnam, or particularly Ho Chi Minh City, would kind of follow the same development path or the growth path with any cities in the region?
I guess every city that we're launching we're getting better at launching. We're getting better at localizing. We're getting better at hiring, the strong local team. And also there's just like a regional benefit. Uber's been in the region for a bit, and every city we're launching is growing faster and faster.
So what is the average growth rate in any regional cities in Asia for Uber?
So globally, our growth rate, this was data from a couple of months ago, was about 18 to 20% month over month. I would say in Asia, it's significantly higher than that.
You brand yourself as a technology company. In terms of technology, what are you guys working on in order to be more innovative in terms of the services offering to the customers?
Sure. So Uber collects a lot of data on all these trips around the world. This allows us to be very efficient with our dispatches. So the number one thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that a driver, when he's driving, is making as much money as possible. This means that he has a paying customer in the seat as much as possible. So a lot of the data in the technology goes back to making sure that this driver is staying busy when he's working, right? Anytime a driver says, hey, I'm going to turn on the Uber app, or even, for example, a taxi driver is kind of driving around on the road and there's no customer in the seat, that's kind of a waste of time. So that's the first thing that data comes into. The next is we can release a lot of new cool products. So one example is in a city like San Francisco, where we've been operational for 5 years, and there's enough liquidity in the demand pool. We actually released a new product now called Uber Pool, which is a car sharing service.
Interesting.
If you have
like peer-to-peer?
It's similar. So one driver can actually pick up 2 different customers if they're going to the same direction. And this is something that's never been possible before because, for example, without the advent of technology or data, you pick up one customer and you see a second customer, you don't know where the second customer is going. But with technology, we can now aggregate all of that data and kind of plot out a route that the first and second customer who are going the same direction can get into the same car. This means that the driver, the customers are paying less. Maybe they pay less than the full fare, but the driver is also making more because he's actually doing 2 customers at once. So at the end of the day, it's cheaper for riders and drivers make more money.
Interesting. But do you plan to have it available in other cities besides the US?
Yeah, so we're actually running a pilot right now in the US, and if pending things going well, that's something that we can definitely consider rolling out.
So right now you are hiring for the people to join your team, Uber Vietnam. How
Yes.
did it go right now?
It's good. So we've hired an operations manager and a community manager so far. We have some pretty good candidates in the pipeline for general manager, but still waiting to extend that offer.
So what do you look for in a GM for a market like this?
So GM is always the toughest role to hire for. GM kind of has to be a jack of all trades. They have to be good at numbers, very data driven, also very good at marketing, be very well connected. And the GM, a lot of most successful GMs tend to be like ex-serial entrepreneurs, just because entrepreneurs have to wear a lot of hats. So they've kind of had experience in running all things of operations, and that's kind of what we look for in GM.
So recently, the people in Vietnam see the presence. We see that a lot of new services coming to these markets, such as Grab Taxi or Easy Taxi, and they're competing with the local taxis as well. And now we have Uber. So what do you say to people if they ask a question, what is the biggest difference between Uber and a service like Grab Taxi? But you guys all take advantage of the mobile app.
Yeah, so the main difference is Uber actually gets you a professional limo driver. The quality is going to be much higher. You get a guy who's going to be dressed well, open the door, provide water. The whole route is tracked, so he's not going to cheat you. And at the same time, at the end of the day, you get all of that and the price is cheaper than taxi.
Well, thank you so much. Good luck. Thank you.
Những chia sẻ vừa rồi cũng đã khép lại phần 2 của chương trình Tôi về Việt Nam. Quý vị có thể xem lại đoạn phỏng vấn này trên website fbnc.vn hoặc là facebook.com/Tôi về Việt Nam với những thông tin liên quan đến hậu trường cùng việc góp ý và phản hồi liên quan đến chương trình, cũng như xem lại chương trình trên trang facebook.com/Kinh tế Tài chính TV.